Miller carry on in the halves. Ben Crooks, who has been having an outstanding season, returns from an ankle injury that saw him miss the Huddersfield game last week. A referee today, by the way, is Richard Silverwood. And a real experienced team here. Robert Hicks and Tim Roby, two Super League referees, are running the line. And Steve Ganson is in the video booth. We won't be hearing from him today, but we will be seeing his decisions should they be required. He's a man who is very key to this whole side, Ben Golair. He'll put the work in on a hot and humid afternoon. It could be close come the final hooter. It's already close at kickoff. The humidity here is a real factor today. It is warm and it is very clammy, Brian Noble.
It is very clammy, and Remy Casty's just shown what the Catalans are about there with his first carry and a huge ricochet. Both these teams will be looking to stay disciplined as well, so they're not giving 3 meters away. And I can't emphasize enough with the kind of humidity that we've got, how important the kicking game is for both teams.
Well, Brian Noble was talking beforehand about how this Catalan team play in waves. It's very much like the support here as well. Very noisy just at the moment, and they do lift the noise when their side are getting on top. They maybe are guilty at times of going a little quiet at times, but they're also equally efficient at raising the atmosphere. There's Giroud's first kick of the game, which is half charged down, and a pick up here. Lynham brings it back, and Catalan are up there in defence.
Well, they did well there. There was kick pressure from the whole team. They're going to have to get to Gironi's kick to disrupt it and maybe disorganise their kick chase. And that, in essence, got Hull another 30 metres on the outgoing set.
Here's Danny Houghton looking to help it on for Ben Golair, who's made a half break. Just pushing his nose through that Catalan line. Houghton again now. They've got some young halfbacks here, or one young halfback anyway, in Jacob Miller, only 20 years of age. It's only his 4th game for Hull today. Aaron Jeremiah, the other one. This is he now, Jeremiah, looking to bring them on, but he's sought out well.
That was a great tackle.
5th tackle. Here comes the last. Here comes the kick from Jacob Miller. High and hanging. Escare's underneath it. It was swirling all over the place, and Escare got fingertips to it, and will be happy, relieved to see that ball go away behind the netball line. A drop out underneath the stick, certainly blows for Hull.
That's round 1 to Hull, absolutely. They disrupt Giroud's kick so they don't have to come out of their own half with a bit of pressure. And then a booming kick. Watch this one go up and come down. Whooshka. Up it goes, and Escare doesn't get within 2 meters of this. It goes and it moves late from him, goes back, goes over his head, and he manages to get his hands to it, which knocks it out of the in-goal. Forced goal line dropout, just the start that Hull wanted.
So here comes Giroud with a drop. Just testing the reach of Jeremiah. This is going to test the mettle of that Catalan defence with a return. It's strong and it's good from the man they call the ogre, Mark O'Mealy. Here's Houghton again, 30 yards out and 5 tackles to go. Hull are in very good position here.
Stand up,
Houghton. Here's Jeremiah, offering it to a couple on the inside. Miller with a dummy in the footwork and trying to trick his way through. Casty, I think it was, who managed to grab a hold. Danny Houghton again. Sees a little disruption there behind the play the ball. The offload from O'Mealy might fall nicely from Miller. Here comes Houghton with a kick to the corner where they have the numbers. And Catalan at the moment are really under the pump. Cleared this time by Frederick Macquarie. Well, they've gone here for the video referee to have a look. Was this caught in full, in goal? If so, it's a tap on the 20.
Well, the question is where he started from to catch the ball. So he's saying he's coming from the field of play, I think, Richard Silverwood, when he caught the ball.
Well, just to remind you, we don't hear from Steve Ganson. We've got to wait for the decision given visually. Did he just have a foot
yes, he did.
In that in-goal area? This will be a massive relief for Catalan.
I think this will be a 20-metre restart.
It is, 20-metre restart. What an escape for the French side.
What a good decision from the video referee, and how important is that for the Catalan in relation to pressure. That could have well have been another repeat set for Hull, hadn't we had the auspices of the video referee.
Here's Zebtire, the Kiwi. Chance for some relief and a chance to bring it back inside their opponent's half here if they can. 2 games from Wembley. They are 2 sides with their own particular Wembley history as well. Catalan Dragons only reached the final once in 2007 when the new stadium was finally unveiled, beaten that day by St Helens. And Hull, 3 times winners, never famously at Wembley. 1914, over a decade before the final move south. 1982 in a replay at Leeds, and then in 2005 when it was staged at Cardiff. This a test for the opposing fullback. The arms were up there, and I think Shannon MacDonald has put this down. He has. It's play on because Catalan have possession. It's an advantage play here. Jure with a kick. Blanche takes it in. He's carried out of play. It won't matter. Well, we're going for the video referee again here. It looks as though it's been carried out of play. Even if it has, it doesn't matter. They will start the set back underneath the sticks.
Full advantage whether Blanche gets the ball down.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my word. That's a fabulous finish if he's got that down.
What about that? Damien Blanche seemingly pulling off what seemed the impossible. We'll have another look here. To remind you, it's a knock-on, so it's an advantage play. They can take the risk knowing that they would simply go back and play it again if this doesn't come off. But you know what? I think it might have done.
It's a score for me. Play on.
Evidence there of Scott Juro's speed of thought, and evidence there of Damien Blanche's efficiency of finishing. Steve Ganson will take another look. That's a try, is it not?
That's one heck of a try. That's a brilliant finish from Damien Blanche. And a great free play. Just an example of this new rule, just for our viewers, is that if they're on opposition or if the team you're playing against has a knock-on, it's play on for one player, and you don't lose the advantage, you go back to the scrum. Now he's looking at offside on the kick, onside on the kick, I think.
Well, they all seemed to be onside, didn't they?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Escarre was encroaching, and whether he was within 10 yards, that might be a question to be asked.
Smart play from Joe Rowe to see Blanche out on his own with the kick.
We'll have a look at this here now. When the kick goes up in the air.
Well, the only people offside, Dave, are the ones around the ruck, the ones that join. And does he get within 10 metres?
I think that's Escarre, isn't it? Yes, it is. Morgan Escarre there, who is within 10 metres. Now this, again, we talk about the fabulous rule of the advantage. This is this awful rule of a player who's not involved in terms of the whole man losing the ball there, who was not involved in the play until he picked it up. And they might just get the try ruled off here because he was technically in an offside position. Let's see where Steve Ganson goes here. If he doesn't give this, he might not be eating locally tonight. Henderson and Escarre both standing in front of the kicker. You can see that Henderson holds his run. He doesn't become involved, but Escarre is following this kick here. When it goes down here, he is within 10 metres. So technically he's offside at that position.
He does pick the ball up as well, doesn't he?
Does,
so
yeah.
he's in play. So
listen to the balls here. Try refused. No try. Damien Blanche is asking the question why, and you have to say it goes back to a rule which we've seen a handful of times over the last few years, which really does need looking at, doesn't it?
Well, I agree it needs looking at, but I think he's involved in the play, in the try-scoring play. He's within the 10 metres, so he's an active player.
But he
picked the ball up and
he's
passed
played
it.
on. When the whole player hits the ball, when the whole player touches the ball, he's played onside. He's offside before the whole player catches the ball.
But he's within the 10 metres when he drops the ball.
Well, you can hear what the Catalan supporters think of that. They are not too happy, if that's not the understatement of the weekend. So, Hull survive, 0-0 it remains. 5 minutes of the first half played. Damien Blanche's acrobatics come to naught. Here's Houghton. Miller. Little dummy by him, but well read, easily enough.
He's testing the line a lot, isn't he, young Miller? Jacob Miller, he's becoming a threat, and then what happens then? It opens up the pass play on the outside.
Here's Gallagher. This is Jeremiah. Miller again. Well, they've reached the 5th, so 30 metres out, we expect the kick here. Here it comes from Miller. Escarre again is the target to be tested, but he's done well this time.
He's done really well.
Went backwards from the catch, and he has the pace to test him on the outside as well.
He's an exciting young player, isn't he? I think we've got two of the good young guns of the Super League, and Ben Crooks on one side of the field for Hull, and young Escarre for the Catalans has been impressive all year.
Here's Henderson. Big drive forward by Simon. One of the young French players who really hit their stripes this season. He's inside the 40 here, Scott Giroud, with this kick. Oh, and he's hit the whitewash. So it'll be ball back. It'll be Hull's head and feed back there. Well, but a foot shorter, and that would have been a magnificent kick.
Seen the closeness of what the French team do. Had that been a 40-20, it's advantage the Catalans, absolutely. But what we saw is try disallowed, and now not the 40. Hull need to take advantage of this free field position that they're getting. They need to come up with a score in this set of 6 for me, or at least stay at this part of the field.
Well, plenty of talking points for our boys back in the studio at half-time already here. And we barely played 7 minutes. Houghton out from behind the scrum. Here comes Crooks on that far side, who's in danger of being dragged out of play. Too much hanging on. And we talk about the players here today, about the atmosphere and what's at stake, but that man there, Richard Silverwood, I tell you, there's a bit of pressure on him as well, isn't there, given the passion of the locals.
And this is trapdoor football, let's not forget. You're out. You get this wrong today, and the referee's decision may just... Yeah, they've got to cope with the pressure. They've got to not listen to the crowds. Here's
Houghton. Miller. Obstruction. A little bit of crossing. So the penalty goes Catalan's way.
Well, they've let the Catalan off the hook there with a little bit of a mistimed lead there, and the ball player's in front of Miller, so he can't pass it to him. And he runs into the Catalan line, and unfortunately it takes the heat, literally the heat, away from the Catalan team there.
I think both sides will be fairly happy with this little breather, won't they? Because, again, to underline the fact it is really, really humid here today. And the longer it goes on, the more tiring it becomes. This is Simon. Henderson up, driven in by Remy Casting. He'll be playing in the NRL next year, having signed for the Sydney Roosters. Menzies. Here's Price. Taya chopped down, but Catalan still with a chance to roll here. Down that left flank, looking for the offload, Millard. Henderson again. Price. On the reach, it wasn't the best of balls.
Well, we've had a couple of errors from both teams now to take the pressure off in the pressure cooker. Leon Price won't be overly impressed with the pass there. Dies on Muniz, doesn't he? Throws it just out in front of him.
Well, again, there's no rush at this scrum. Both sides almost with a silent settlement between them, really. When we do get a chance for a breather, let's take it. Miller with a feed. Here's Houghton. Behind the back of Ellis and O'Mealy. Instead, rather muscular challenge for that Catalan defence, but dealt with well enough on that occasion. Hakeem just trying to lift a bit of the workload off his big forwards. Houghton again with a kick out from dummy half. Oh, it's a bit of a juggle again by Vakary, but he has managed to come up safely in the end.
Great tackle on the kick chase from Jeremiah. The game at the moment has been played in between the two 20-metre lines of the field, aren't they? So no team's quite established that field position where they've got really good attacking players on there because of the way they're not controlling the ball well enough. And we get, Hull on play 3 there, deciding that the kicking game's that important that they're going to give the ball away early.
It's been lost. And not Reef, simply lost. Here's Briscoe.
Danger. And
Jeremiah.
He's going into the middle of the field. Leon Price did really well there.
Is it fair to say that Tom Briscoe's form has dipped a little this season? There's been all kinds of talk about him leaving Hull at the end of the year. Is he perhaps not quite as potent as he has been in recent years?
I wouldn't say that. If you give him the chance, he'll take it. I think what teams do is they work out players after a few years, and that's a good offload from O'Mealy.
O'Mealy's done well here. Here's Chris Green, the young prop forward. The young gun to the old, from the old one to the young gun.
Teams get used to what you're doing, so you have to reinvent yourself a little bit, and that can take a year to adjust as well.
This is Jeremiah now. A little grubber as well, because the space was offering itself. Crooks with the ball back in. Escarre straight into his rib cage, and he's done well to hold on under the pressure.
It's a smart little play on the short side from Hull, and it opened up the French defence, and they got lucky on the kick.
Well, the claims from the Catalan fans is that Hull are offside here, but they're just getting up very, very quickly, putting a lot of pressure on. Again, a ball to ground, again picked up safely. Here's Millard. This is Henderson. Thacker is coming on the inside. Well, there's only 4 tackles gone here. They've barely scraped out from their own 20 metres, so they need a big kick, but they won't get there because that was a juggle and a fumble by Mikel Simon. So another handling mistake here has offered Hull a real advantage.
Yeah, they're giving them every opportunity, I think, the Catalans. A couple of drops in this set, a couple of drops before.
Catalans doing well in possession so far. They're winning 2/3 more than Hull, but possession is in Hull's favour at the moment.
Yeah, and that's an indication that they're not getting to the end of the sets. They've only got 3 and 4 players, and each amount of possession that they get, and that will take its toll in these conditions. Irrespective of you playing at home and you know how to play it, Hull will break the line and get a score if they keep doing that.
Here comes Houghton. Driven in by Westerman. 4 to go, 10 metres to cover here. Houghton again to this left-hand side. Jeremiah, plenty of space. Galea is caught in possession, and he tried to offload and has given it away. And a chance now for them to make hay through Henderson.
I think Galea's busted, Dave. I think he's got an injury.
Menzies, 39 years of age, Steve Menzies. 1 or 2 of us were beginning to think he might go on forever, but he is retiring at the end of the year. Here's Giroud, who will kick from behind a 40-metre mark. So Briscoe, well, doesn't have to be too careful because the ball will not really tempt that touchline. He's got a decent run back here, Briscoe. Yeaman's up there quickly too. Catalan's defence has reorganised itself. Here's Briscoe. Whiting. Good footwork from Whiting. Recently on the pitch, in place of Ben Galea, it's another fumble ball. It's a very scrappy game just at the moment. Referee was just thinking about the advantage, but then saw none forthcoming, so it will be Catalan's head and feet at the scrum.
Do you want my 14-minute theory?
What's your 14-minute theory?
This ball is greasy because of the humidity. And the team that learns to manage that, simplify things. Because you're seeing there, Hull there with the weight, not weight of possession, because Catalan have had more ball. Hull have made more use of their possession and more play the balls, I think, is what our stats are telling us, and that will take its toll eventually. We saw there a couple of half breaks. It's very sweaty out there, Dave.
It's very sweaty up here as well, isn't it? Less comfortable as the afternoon goes on. 0-0 it remains. 14.5 minutes played. And here's Henderson at dummy half for the Catalan Dragons. Out to Zeb Tyre, who's lost the ball again. Play on, 0 tackle. Here comes Danny Houghton. Houghton will try the advantage play again. It's not going to come off. Giroud knows full well that he's not going to go the distance. The referee's going to call it back and say take it back to the original play. Head and feet for Hull at the scrum. I think your 14-minute theory might be right.
Well, let's have a look at this one. Zeb Tyre is saying he had the ball punched out. That's a loose carry. Even if he's punched at the ball, he deserves to look after it better than that.
They both have a smattering of Challenge Cup final appearance, don't they? And the whole lineup, Kirk Yeaman and Richard Whiting, who's now on the field, both part of the 2005 Cup winning side against Leeds at Cardiff, and Catalan, 3 of their players surviving from their 2007 Cup final appearance: Remy Casti, Gregory Muniz and Vincent Duport. And of course that day, Leon Price, Catalan today, but a St Helens player that day. In fact, he shared the Lance Todd Trophy with Paul Wellens, but has since switched allegiances. This is Danny Houghton for Hull. Both sides still looking for that first strike. Here comes Whiting again. Menzies at the heart of the defensive work. Really is a clever footballer. This is Ellis. Well, there's still a couple of tackles left here. Houghton again. Here's Jeremiah. "15 yards away. Houghton. Miller's kick. Nobody was quite sure in that Catalan lineup who was going to take it. Zeb Taya eventually given the responsibility and cannot get out of the field of play. It's going to be a dropout underneath the sticks.
Nice kick from Miller. Nice chase on the inside. I think it was Houghton, McDonald. A little set play from Hull to finish a set. The juice tanks will go down if the Catalans keep spilling this amount of ball. Nice touch on his kick and cleans the ball up, Zeb Taya, and just can't get out. Good kick chase. Whiting's involved there, and quite a few Hull defenders. They've looked after the ball better, haven't they, Hull? You have to say.
Jacob Miller is a rare reversal of trends in this modern age, isn't it? The fact that he's only 20 years of age, an Australian who's come this way, come to the Super League. Only his 4th game here. What have you made of him? He was making a bit of an impression early season at Wests, wasn't he? And then kind of lost his place. What have you made of him since his arrival at Hull? Well,
he's on the 3 or 4 games, and his coach is saying he's settling in really, really well and becoming more and more familiar with the players around him, which is important for a half-back. But he's looked dangerous at the start of this game, Dave.
Here's Westerman. He's lost it. Again, it goes to ground. Ascari with a little grubber kick, the dribble.
That's play on, surely.
Well, there were 2 knock-ons. I think Ascari knocked on. I think there was a knock-on by the Catalan side, at least.
Okay.
Richard Silver just confirming that. So Westerman knocks it forward, and there's a juggle as well. And he's deemed that as a knock-on.
It's just a drop-a-thon at the moment, isn't it? 3-tackle football.
Well, you were saying whoever keeps hold of the ball best, but neither side are keeping hold of the ball well at the moment, are they? It is relative in terms of who is holding it best. Here's Henderson.
I tell you, it wasn't a whole player on side then. I'm actually agreeing with the roar of the crowd.
Simon. Mikael Simon. Henderson again, whose brother Andrew was involved in Sheffield's dig against the London Broncos last night, which didn't go their way. Casti wrestling his way forward again. Henderson once more. Here comes Leon Price with that trademark step and offload to Henderson. They're gaining advantage here now. They're gaining a bit of ground, a bit of momentum and room in which to work. Muniz closed down. Oh. Henderson. Here's Giroud, who's going to kick on the last. Does he? No, he's not. He's going to try this to Taya, but he runs it deep into the arms of those welcome defenders. And the handover 15 metres from the Hull line this time.
I think he was trying to find out what it's like to have a play in the opposition 20. I think that's their first 2 plays, other than the advantage play we saw with the try that was chalked off. This is the end of the field that the French really love to be at. They've got to front load a little bit of their energy now and try and work really hard defensively and keep Hull here.
Well, I think Tanya Arnold down on the touchline might have some news for us as well. Tanya, what news?
Quicker. He took a knock to his left shoulder, and he's looking very dejected, and they're taking the strapping off him at the moment. Doctor not ruling him out, but I have to say I'd be quite surprised if he does come back on.
Thank you, Tanya. Here comes Danny Houghton out from that acting half position.
It's a great asset if you've got a hooker that plays in the dummy half position, as we saw there, as Danny Houghton plays in that position, that can kick the ball from there, because he can take the defensive team by surprise and take the pressure off your front line kickers, and that's a great kick from Houghton.
Here's Vakary. Freddie Vakary. He's got 5 tries in his last 6 appearances for Catalan, so he's a man who's in a bit of form just at the moment. Unlike this whole side generally, who have lost their last 4, it's a run that started with defeat here in early June. Here's Blanche. Hull came here early June and lost by 30 points to 4. They've been on a decent run of form before that, but since have not been able to buy a win. Lost their last 3 in very close circumstances. Here comes Menzies. That's the 5th. So Casti is the unlikely dummy half. Giroud will look for touch. And to the chagrin of both sets of forwards, he doesn't find it, so the game carries on.
It's a laboured kick chase, isn't it?
It's not surprising, given the conditions. Briscoe hands on hips. He'll have a dig from dummy half. Eamon's gone across there. This is he. Oh, and they get a penalty. Penalty again. Well, a few seats to our left was slammed at that decision.
I'll tell you what, it makes a huge difference, a penalty on play 3.
That's the reason why. A bit too much hanging on. So Danny Houghton looking to his left and finding young Liam Watts, who's done well to get that offload away and keep this lively for Hull. Here's Jeremiah.
Danger. He's got a really good step at the line and explosion in his carries.
Houghton. If one of the big men to drive it here is another one who's relatively fresh from the bench, Andy Lynch. Houghton again, Watts to his left-hand side, but it's gone back to Miller. Here comes Ellis. Ellis urging himself forward and finds himself put down only 10 yards away with tackles still in the back here. Miller once more. Jeremiah, the half's in harness. The pass wasn't great, but it is still collected by McDonald, who's going to ride the high tackle and force his way over. And he's dragged back, is he, or has he managed to touch this down? Well, there seems to be some confidence in the celebration here from Shannon McDonald that he has got a try, but it's going to go over to Steve Ganson. Video referee, you heard that. If it's not a try, it will be a penalty anyway.
For the high shot.
For the high tackle. Looking at the grounding here. I think there might be a hand underneath that, isn't there? Gregory Muniz. What do you reckon?
I reckon he'll give a try. I can see, I don't think his hand's near enough that ball. I think it's down there, and I don't think there's a hand underneath it. However, I could be wrong. So that's why Steve Ganson's got the decision. Benefit of the doubt, he's touched the ground there.
That's a try, isn't it, from that angle?
Yes.
Well, the Catalan supporters will be looking at the big screen here, and they won't be pleased with this, but Hull fans highly delighted, because this, I'm sure, is going to be a try. It is confirmed, and there's a little smudge of black and white to the far left-hand side, who reached to the air in celebration. Their side have finally made the breakthrough that they arguably deserve here.
Well, they've been tempting Providence for a long time now. They closed the play down, should have closed. McDonald give him a run on the inside because they haven't tied in, and the 3 defenders just can't stop him. He's vigorous, he got there, he's already got the penalty, he got the shot round the head from Leon Price, but does well to get the ball down as McDonald. And that's just weight of possession. That's just weight of opportunity they've given Hull, Dave.
Joe Westerman is the picture of concentration as he looks to add the 2, which he does without any great difficulty. So Hull have that lead, 6 points to 0. It's taken a while.
Well, the play should have been closed down here. The inside defenders don't tie up, don't move. Taylor was responsible for one there, and that gives McDonald the opportunity. They get bodies in there, but he's too close to the line. He's over the line. He only has to get over the line. Doesn't say how far he has to go. He can put the ball down now, and unfortunately, Escarre can't make the defensive play.
And reminder that there's a second game tomorrow, the second quarter-final that we're showing this weekend. That's a knock-on, by the way, but Warrington against Huddersfield tomorrow, 4 o'clock it all starts.
That's a big result
and
for the French.
after that, we'll have the semi-final draw. What about that?
That's a big result for the French. They get over the line here. They've got themselves out of jail. They haven't played well. They've been playing 3-tackle football, and Hull have just offered them, here's a piece of cake. Here you go, have a piece of cake in our line. Let's see how you go.
Well, again, a chance for a breather here.
Stay close. Don't break until I say out, yeah? Okay, mate.
Here we go, Duro to feed. Catalan having conceded with an early chance to try and get themselves back. Level again, Menzies. Henderson. So Lapini Pier, who will have a go here. Henderson currently occupying that dummy half position. They've got a bright spark in Eloi Pelissier to interchange with him at some point during this game. And you suspect his influence, Pelissier's, might be a big one in this match. Left it goes to Millard. Thackeray, they get a penalty, so they get another set of 6 here to have a go at this whole line.
I think they fancy that left side, though, with Millard and Taya. Big, strong boys hitting the line. Ooh,
Jamal Fakir never misses. Never been known to miss with those drives forward. Henderson again. Giroud stretches back on the inside to Paire, who might have shrugged one off, but 2 or 3 more willing defenders were there to hold him down. Henderson to Price. Price back to Vincent Dupont. Kirkheeman does well to hang on again, but there are 3 more tackles for Hull to hold out. Here's the bright spark. Running across that line, Escarre, but going nowhere forward.
They've lost 20 metres there.
Giroud, Muniz. Well, this whole defence looks pretty comfortable just for the moment, doesn't it? But here comes the final tackle. Henderson again. Giroud, kick to the corner. Menzies underneath it. Blanche is there as well. Menzies knocks it backwards. Dupont keeps hold of it. Dupont still on the 6. Manages to offload. Menzies puts it back. Fakir knocks it on. Hull will break away here. And it will be a knock-on, and it will be the handover in Hull's favour.
Menzies leaps. Gets his hands to it. This is play on when Menzies gets there, knocks it back. If Dupont recollects, if he can get his hands free, he's trying to find Blanche, can't quite. Plenty of black and white shirts in the frame, which is an encouraging side for the whole defence. They defended their line well there, didn't they, for 2 sets?
There's a lot of things that Steve Menzies does that simply shouldn't be possible for a 39-year-old rugby league player.
Yeah.
His turn of pace at times is electrifying as well, isn't it?
Do you know what's so exciting about him? He just still loves the game. And if you love playing something and you love to be involved, I think it knocks the numbers off your birth certificate, for sure.
They're not missing many so far, 97 and 94% tackle completion. So both sides working hard. Here's Houghton again. Whiting. Houghton. Real engine in the middle, he's lost it.
Well, I can only think it's the greasiness of the balls, and it is humid.
Well, if anyone's going to feel the heat today, it is going to be Danny Houghton. He's just about the hardest worker on both sides, isn't he? On average, there was some of the big hits, some of the big smashes we've seen so far today. Some of the might-have-beens, some of the could-have-beens, but it remains 6-0 in Hull's favour. They're missing a man in the pack at the moment, Catalan. That's why the referee's just hanging on before we see this ball fed.
When is Leon Price going to play his part? He has this ability to explode into a game and cause problems for the opposition. I think he's just waiting for his opportunity.
Well, Ben Crooks was offside there, wasn't he? Trying to read that play.
Yeah.
Giroud's kick. It's a tap restart for Millard with Catalan only 20 metres away. Here comes Jamal Fakir with that initial drive forward. Giroud. Well, this is the man we were talking about a short while ago, isn't it? Eloi Pellissier. Look at his sharpness from dummy half, especially against the tiring whole pack. Escarre. Pellissier. Leroy.
4. Move on the line. Go. 4.
Pellissier again. Here's Giroud. Plenty of options here. We went for the short, flat ball to Lepini Pea, who had a hot defender in his face and also gets a penalty again.
I thought he knocked on there, Pea. I thought he hit the whole defender. I think that's what Jeremiah was complaining about.
We'll take it quickly. Here's Pea again. 5 more tackles, and look how close that whole goal line is at the moment. Pellissier waiting, short again, and it's just a heavy artillery smashing against the walls of this whole defence. Taya held at bay. Giroud. Now they go more subtle. Here comes Leon Price.
Well, I think that was his play, and they're ready for it all. I think that's straight from the script. They've done well and handled him well there.
Pellissier again. Leroy. Hull hung on for 4. Jamal Fakir. It's a heavy steam rolling effort from him. But they're not going to bully their way over this this whole line. So here comes the last. Pellissier. There's a little bit of a gap there. Is he in? Eloi Pellissier buries himself underneath those whole defenders. Richard Silverwood takes a long, hard look and decides he cannot make head or tail of this situation. So it's back again to Steve Ganson.
Oh, it might be now.
He's hit the line. That's all he has to do, isn't it? What do you reckon?
I think it's a try. Looks like this angle. This is a better angle. I think there the ball touches the ground. That's a try.
Well, Steve Ganson has decided that the try is a good one. Eloi Pellissier making his presence felt not long after his unveiling on the field. And the Catalans, well, in a few moments' time, could be level again, but are certainly very much in this contest.
It was a clumsy try, wasn't it? The 5 players, I'm not saying it wasn't a try, but it was like 5 really short barges at the line, and they haven't created anything. The whole defence has looked really structured, and he's just backed himself. He's beaten 3 people on the line here. A little bit disappointed that he gets over there, you know. Out maybe 2 more steps, and Yemen stay with him, but you know what's coming. Yemen stood offside anyway, but he does well to get his nose down into the dirt and his backside up in the air and keep his legs pumping, and boom, back in the game.
So Scott Giroud with a chance to add the 2 that would make it all square again. Well, there's a little bit of a fade, but not too much. Certainly not enough to steer it wide. So it is 6-6, and some rather grumpy Catalonians are a little happier now.
I think Hull looked the better team in attack. Is that fair? Will I get away with this in this stand? Is what I'm saying. I think they look a little bit more organised, a little bit more threatening with Miller and Jeremiah and Houghton.
Are you in any way surprised that Thomas Bosk is not involved in this this Catalan side today? He was 18th man, named as 18th man.
But it's a brilliant kicking game. But doesn't Giroud, are we not putting the emphasis on there? You know, the Catalan staff will know better than how has he been playing? We don't see them every week. He hasn't been playing well enough, and you just don't carry a block. You don't earn their place.
This is Jamal Fakir, backwards, picked up by Pellissier. That little flick of the knees before he takes on that whole line. They're trying to get momentum going here now, aren't they?
Danger.
Price, quickly, Menzies through his legs. Yemen kicks on. Yemen will fall on it. Hull get possession back again. There were no knock-ons there, so it is the... oh, there was. This will be the 0. Oh, that was a 0 tackle. Here comes the first.
There was an advantage on if they could find it.
Whiting finding the ground 20 metres away. Houghton out. Miller to that right-hand side. Jeremiah helps it on. What's it given here?
Well, given. The penalty to Catalan for what?
Well, he's given it against Danny Tickle.
For what?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but Danny Tickle was certainly the voice he was shouting at.
Send us a sign, Mr. Silverwood. I think as he led like one of the runners, decoy runners for our people that are watching at home that are relatively new to the game, as a decoy runner run into a defender is probably the penalty that's been given there.
There we are. He's given obstruction. He's given obstruction.
Whacked him with the elbow as well.
Septile making good ground. Pelissier up from dummy half, taken on by Lapini Pair. Head down on a barge by him. But they're in decent position here, Catalan, having got themselves back level. Looking to strike again. Morgan Escarre, who's not really been given too much running room today, has he? So far. Price. Here's Pair. The former Sydney Rooster. Pelissier. Giro. That was a fifth. So 10 metres out, a real opportunity for Catalan to try and conjure something here. It's Price's kick which will test them. It's Blanche who goes up, but it's taken very well by Briscoe. But Blanche was blocked away unfairly by Yeaman.
Yeah, I think it's the right call. He hasn't gone for the ball and he's pulled him back. He's not allowed to do that. Once he put his arms up, pulled him down. He can compete for the ball. Blanche is allowed to.
Here's Pelissier again, looking for the cheekiest route to that try line. Here's Leroyer. This is Duro. This is Jamal Fakir. Hard-hitting run again. There'll be some bruises after this game is finished. Here comes Duro again. Now Menzies. Menzies looking to step. Menzies still going here. Menzies looking to offload in the end, but Hull's arms wrapping around him to make sure that option is restricted.
Are you sure it's 39?
Under half. Here's Pelissier. Eventually, it's a slow play the ball. This is Price. Back on the inside for Lapini Pair. Shirt almost ripped from his back before eventually he's put down. But a real heavy spell here for Hull to weather. Pelissier again. Giro. Leroyer. Whiting was the man who sought him out. Westerman helping out, or rather Tickle helping out in defence as well. Pelissier. Price with a kick. Ricochets off several. Dropped on by Danny Tickle, and Hull have possession back again.
Some Hull players blowing there. Look at that. Hands on knees, hands on hips. The heat taking its toll, the humidity taking its toll. Who's going to do the toughs work? Who's going to get them out of there? Danny Tickle, is it? No. Lynham puts his hand up. Big boy from the wing. Everybody, all hands to the pump. It needs to be here.
Here's Andy Lynch. Briscoe, the winger, up there to help those forwards again. More yards earned in difficult circumstances, and on the 6th they will kick it. Jacob Miller putting a very good kick through, but Escarre covering that ground very quickly. That's the benefit, isn't it, of having a swift full-back. He gets there in time to catch on the full.
Yeah, he's quick. He can make the ground quickly, so your kicking game has to be pinpoint when he's in the backfield. Because of that speed, covers the ground really quickly, can catch the ball on the full. It means that Catalan's bigger fellas don't have to come back quite as far when they get the meters from the kick return.
Here's Vincent Duport. 99th appearance today. Vincent Duport for the Catalan. Run away from the big one. Here's Damien Blanche. The Irish international. No doubt he'll be in World Cup form at the end of this season. It's Leon Price. And they've eked their way to within 25 metres of this whole line. And here comes the last. Giroud's going for a drop goal. And Giroud, I think, has got the drop goal. He has. It's 1 point that may prove golden. when the 80th minute is up, because it edges Catalan into the slenderest of leads. 7 points to 6 going into the half-time break.
Okay, that's a great play. I like the 1 point because it's been a really tight game. The difference between these two teams for me is the quality of the dummy half running. When it's improved from the Catalan, they've managed to march the whole team with losing a little bit of juice because the French are looking after the ball a little bit better. But when Briscoe have gone in there, when Lino have gone in there, when Yeaman have gone in there, when Danny Houghton's run on the back of a great play from Whiting, then Hull have managed to gain the advantage, because what they do is give their big blokes rest. They don't have to work as far, in essence, and it's whether it makes a huge difference.
So Westerman with the restart. There's not too long left to play here now, is there, in this first half? So Catalan looking to run it out if they can. 3.5, just under, of the first half remaining. I tell you what, these are two sets of players who will be desperate, absolutely desperate, to get into the dressing rooms at half-time, won't they? We cannot overestimate how big a role the conditions are playing here today. Back here.
Well, there you go, there's another one.
Advantage play again. Crooks was looking to craft a kick, but it's ricocheted off Tear, so it will be the head and feet here for Hull.
It's cheeky to say it, but the most dangerous play from both teams has been the advantage play from the knock-on, hasn't it? We've seen the disallowed try, we've seen a nearly try, and then we've seen opportunities created because they're lifting their heads and trying to create an opportunity from a kick.
12 home games this season for Catalan. They've won 9 of them. They are pretty good at home. And he's having a good season. Laurent Fresinier, new as head coach, their first French head coach for the Catalans. What a debut season it would be for him if he were to take his side to Wembley. But two very big hurdles to overcome first. This whole side here today, and then a potential semi-final. Danny Houghton indicating he wanted to go for goal. The referee just telling him it's a differential penalty, Danny. You can't kick for goal. Well, I wanted to kick for touch anyway, he'll have said.
They might. If they profit with 6 points here, he'll think, yeah, the rules helped me there.
Houghton looking down that right-hand side, the short run. It's as close as you can get.
Wow.
Houghton again. Spinning it away to Miller. Miller looking to step Leon Price. Then Fakir threatens to take his head off.
That's a penalty. Now they'll take the 2.
And all fingers pointing to the posts. Side of Jamal Fakir's game we're not entirely unused to, is it?
Doesn't cope with agility too well, does he, Jamal? He doesn't let too many past him. He can't. That's the play before. That was from Westerman, and he got himself over the line.
So this could very well be the last kick of the first half here, because Danny Tickle, who's taken over the kicking duties now that he's come on from the interchange bench, will take his time with this. And if he does put it over, which he in all likelihood will do, then Hull will have that 1 point advantage going into the break. It's just the faint strains of Old Faithful, the Hull club anthem, in the background as Danny Tickle prepares to put his side into the lead. As the hooter looms, they will make their way back to the halfway line. I'm not sure they'll get there in time to take the kick-off before that hooter sounds. So 8 points to 7, Hull now lead, but the balance of the game still remains.
Well, it's there for the taking for both teams, isn't it? An error strewn, you'd have to say, first half, probably because of the conditions, but I think